Do you ever wonder how successful companies like Google and Amazon keep inventing new things? What is the art of innovation? Or how innovation in technology and startups mostly comes from particular places like Silicon Valley? Google is probably the world's most successful company. So would you believe if I tell you that most of the Google products are developed from the personal projects done by the Google employees? Let's find out how big companies like Google, Amazon and Apple are able to create such a creative environment. I welcome you to another episode of Exploring Creativity and Innovation. This is Prateek and you are watching Eclectic. Google allows its employees to spend 20% of their time on the projects of personal interest, something like a pet project or a side project. Many of the great products of Google are developed from these personal projects of employees. For example, Google News. A guy from India named Krishna Bharat developed it from his pet project. Let us explore more about the working culture of innovative organizations like Google. Successful companies have a simple motto: bring the inventors together and do not come in their way. Companies invest great amount of time and energy in building a creative environment. Do you ever notice how some places are so artistic and innovative? How a particular innovation in art or technology comes from few selected locations. For example, the development of arts and literature in Florence at the beginning of 15th century, development of poetry and literature in Bloomsbury of London, development of computers and tech startups in the Silicon Valley of California, software development in Bangalore of India. These are the few examples of many. It shows us that innovation is most likely to happen where creative people come together and get enough help and resources either from the government or from the organization they are working for. Innovative companies do not interrupt or discourage their employees when they try to do something new. For example, when your employees are trying to create something new and in that process if they commit some mistakes, you should not behave harshly with them. If you scold your employees for committing mistakes, they will not dare to do anything new. Great inventors believe that the innovation happens in the chaos. Means innovation happens where there is no discipline at all. For example, if you read The Facebook Effect, a book on how Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook and how he built Facebook, you will find out in the early days of Facebook, there was no discipline at all at the company. Engineers used to code day and night at any time they want, sit anywhere they want. But when companies grow bigger, they face more responsibilities. At that time, they need to organize their working culture. Therefore, companies hire managers to organize their working culture. This is how it looks like. Creativity in chaos. Then the managers and then things get in order. That is how successful companies keep their working culture balanced, where creativity and responsibility both have equal importance. The second thing is, companies design a basic structure of process inside the respective departments of companies for innovation in their product, service and process. They always have 6 goals. Let us see them one by one. Product innovation. It aims to introduce a new product. For example, Amazon's Echo, Amazon's Fire TV Stick and Amazon's Kindle. Product improvement. It aims to enhance the performance and reduce the cost of products. Here is an amazing example of product improvement. The Boeing 737 is the best-selling commercial jet of the modern world, with more than 7,400 Boeing delivered to the customers. Now see these photos. On your left, that model is from 1970s. On your right, this is the current model. The look of Boeing 737 has hardly changed. Yet Boeing has been improving it in terms of fuel consumption, pollution control, noise level reduction and many other things. More than 3.5 lakh components were involved in building a first Boeing 737, and in last 40 years they have replaced almost all of those components with the new advanced components. We do not notice these improvements, yet these improvements outperform the old models in every aspect. The next is service innovation. It includes introducing new services to your customers like invention of ATM machines by banks and Google Maps by Google. Now imagine, once upon a time in insurance business, insurance was largely sold face to face, but now you can buy insurance online. So see, the approach has largely been changed and successful companies always keep up with it. Then comes the service improvement. The first ATM machine was installed in 1967 in North London, but now ATM machines are everywhere. You can even deposit your money through these new ATM machines. So that is what we call service improvement. The last part is the process innovation and process improvement. Here, process is nothing but the manufacturing or a developing process of your product. Process innovation aims to find new effective way to develop your product in order to reduce the cost and time taken for manufacturing. And process improvement is often related to reducing cost, improving performance, and at the same time increasing the volume of production. There was a time when a small team of people used to make the entire car, but now modern factories use both automation and humans. Car companies need humans when they want to invent or introduce new model of a car. After designing the first model of a car, companies use automation for mass production. Business models of successful companies are always a good combination of product, service, and process. They build a great ecosystem around these three. For example, Amazon has invested a great deal in designing an ecosystem for buying books. They have Amazon.com, where you can buy books, and they manufacture Amazon Kindle as well, an ebook reader where you can read those books, and it is the most preferred device for reading books so far. Then Amazon bought Goodreads, a social catalog of books that allows you to search the whole database of books, review those books, and also lets you create your digital bookshelf. Then Amazon precisely connected all these things with one another. Amazon made a great ecosystem of buying, selling, reviewing, and finding new books at one place. And now they don't have any competition in the market. Users buy books on Amazon, they read it on Kindle, then they review that book as well as find new books on Goodreads. Isn't that amazing ecosystem Amazon have? But here is the thing. Companies cannot always invent everything. There will always be some bright engineers in the world who prefer working independently rather than working for companies like Amazon or Google. So then these companies use the other way, and that is acquiring new startups. For example, in the case of Amazon's ecosystem of buying, selling, and reviewing books, Amazon was not the one who founded Goodreads. Amazon acquired it and integrated it in their own ecosystem. In another case, Google has been very keen to develop artificial intelligence. So Google has their own department working on artificial intelligence, as well as Google has the acquisition department which keeps an eye on startups related to artificial intelligence. And if those startups can contribute to Google's service, Google acquires them at any cost. So keeping your company innovative is a great deal. On the one hand, the rival companies fight for existing customers in existing market. On the other hand, someone could be working to introduce an entirely new technology or a product which could disrupt your industry and eventually replace you in the near future. Just like how once Google replaced Yahoo and now electric cars are disrupting automobile industry. The battles between rival companies are important, but companies also need to keep an eye on new disruptive inventions. Therefore, big companies always try to hire smart engineers from around the world, as well as they try to acquire new innovative startups. But if you are at the beginning of building your own startup, you need a great amount of knowledge, and knowledge comes from books. So check out the amazing range of books mentioned in the description and watch this clip of Steve Jobs on why companies fail.
With John Scully, John came from PepsiCo, and they at most would change their product, once every 10 years. I mean, to them a new product was like a new size bottle, right? So if you were a product person, you couldn't change the course of that company very much. So who influenced the success of PepsiCo? The sales and marketing people. Therefore, they were the ones that got promoted, and therefore they were the ones that ran the company. Well, for PepsiCo that might have been okay, but it turns out the same thing can happen in technology companies that get monopolies, like, IBM and Xerox. If you were a product person at IBM or Xerox, so you make a better copy or a better computer. So what? When you have a monopoly market share, the company's not any more successful. So the people that can make the company more successful are sales and marketing people. And they end up running the companies. And the product people get driven out of the decision-making forums. And the companies forget what it means to make great products. Sort of the product sensibility and the product genius that brought them to that monopolistic position gets rotted out by people running these companies who have no conception of a good product versus a bad product. They have no conception of the craftsmanship that's required to take a good idea and turn it into a good product. And they really have no feeling in their hearts, usually, about wanting to really help the customers. So that's what happened at Xerox. The people at Xerox PARC used to call the people that ran Xerox toner heads.